So I just changed the bass channel to outputs 5 and 6 so that we hear that here. Hey there, everybody. This is Sky Deep, and here we are at How I Do That Like That. That's what I'm calling this series. This is the first time I've actually said it out loud. Usually I just write it on the screen. I mean, I only have a couple of posts so far, but I'm looking to step up my game and post a bit more. I have been, if you wonder where I've been, I have been in heavy rehearsals and programming for a live show that I have coming up in Los Angeles at the Echoplex. I'm very excited. It's my first live house set as opposed to just DJing house or incorporating house in a different type of set list with several genres. So this time, I'm working with totally new equipment to me. Only really just this summer have I been working with the MPC Live, the Novation Mono Station, and my interface, the Motu UltraLite mk4. So since I got all of these things sort of around the same time, the learning curve has been pretty intense because before that, I have only been using Ableton Live and controllers and various software synths and things like that. So I'm very excited to be working with these things, and I think that I'm finally getting a handle on things in the context of how I would like to perform live with them. If I was just producing tracks, I felt pretty set straight away because all of these pieces of gear are really good for just getting started right away. So why are we here today? Well, today I want to talk a little bit more about the interface, the Motu. I'm really excited about it. I keep saying that, but the things that I'm able to do with this have really expanded the possibilities of how balanced I can make my overall live mix between all of the machines work. So in my live set, I am also still using Ableton Live for a few things. I'm sending my vocals through there, and I have recorded from the mono station. I created some swooshes and effects that I send through my Zoom, which is also new to me, by the way. The effects box. And so, yeah, I created some triggers inside of Live that I can use with that. Plus, I'm running a few stems from a couple of tracks so that I can bounce between sessions, between MPC Live sessions. Yeah. So anyway, today I just want to focus on the routing matrix in the Motu UltraLite mk4. Which it can operate as a standalone mixer, but in this case, I'm using it as both an interface and a standalone mixer. And it has this really cool software inside. So you can see it here. The way I got to getting inside, this is the internal settings of the MK4. And you'll see like a few lights blinking here, like that's basically the signal of my voice, which is coming through the microphone 1 here. But all these boxes, I have a plethora of boxes here that I can choose from and decide where the sound of my voice will route through this interface or this mixer. I can also decide where it goes in the computer. And as you see, there's just a lot going on here. So let me start with the basics. Maybe I'll first visually show you again how I have my things wired.
This is how I route
the mono station into the MPC Live. I send MIDI from the MPC Live to the circuit mono station to keep those two machines in time. Additionally, we have the interface, which I use as a sub mixer also before I go into like a DJ mixer or a larger mixing desk. And with that, I go out from the MPC Live, the 6 outputs, and I go into the 6 analog inputs of the UltraLite mk4, which is of course attached by USB to my computer routing from Ableton Live. And of course, we have the microphone, which goes directly into the MK4. From the UltraLite mk4, we are going directly into the Midas Venice 160 analog mixer that I currently have in this studio room. I really only use the 4 stereo channels to correlate with the 8 analog outputs of the interface, which is acting as my submixer. So for illustration, here we have the 8 analog outputs from the UltraLite mk4, and as you see, the drums are dedicated to 1 and 2, synths to 3 and 4, bass to 5 and 6, and vocals and effects to 7 and 8. And then if you look back at the Motu software, which by the way, I got into this software by up here in the right corner after I installed the necessary drivers in the software for this box. This sign showed up, and when I click on that, I open Pro Audio Control, and I'll just open another one. It's the same thing, and here I am, and this is the sign for the routing matrix. I also have a mixing tab and a special tab just for auxiliary mixing. And then there's the touch console. The touch console is a pretty cool thing that I haven't tried out yet, and when I do, I'll let you know. But the touch console works really well with things like iPads and tablets, where you can use those as a remote to control the mixer here. So anyway, I am sending the drum channels out of the MPC Live and into the analog 1 and 2 inputs of the Motu. And if you look here, this is our analog input section. Right now, we don't see anything lighting up because I'm not playing anything. But let me go ahead and turn these down. If I just... So I have this going on. And we'll see here that I have, well, actually, I don't know if you can see this from there, but the reason we hear, let's pause that. The reason we're hearing that synth sound is because I haven't yet changed the routing of the synth sound. So right now, that synth sound is still going through channels 1 and 2. I want to change those to channels 3 and 4. So I just did. I'll show you more close-ups about how I do that later. And now when I unmute the drum track, we don't hear it anymore. That's because it's coming through on this channel. Yeah. Okay, so when we look back at the matrix, we have a lot of things going on there. So I am going to just solo the synth channel, and we'll see that solo on the MPC. And we see that it's coming through analogs 3 and 4 here. If we follow my pointer all the way down, let's see why and where I checked the boxes here. So I have these 2 boxes checked, and they correlate with analog 3 and 4. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to see because there's so many boxes, but there's an easy way to get rid of that. Like I can hide all of these computer tracks. Right now I keep them there, but let's see if I want to hide those. This is the 2 computer. I can actually change this number. And there's another screen where I can actually just cross them out, kind of. But like, let's say I only want to put 2 of them there. Okay. And so now it's a little bit less confusing to look at. So 3 and 4, and then we go right here and we see that it says 3 and 4 here. It's letting us know where we are. And I've named these inside of the mixer. So basically, this section here is called Mix In. So what I'm doing is I already went out of the MPC and into the analog inputs of the MK4. So now what we see is we're coming out of the analog inputs and into this sort of virtual world mixer of the MK4, which is what we're looking at. So let's take a look at what's going on there. I click on the mixer here. Mixing, routing, right? So I clicked on that, and here we are. We have a few things going on. Maybe I can do this again, but in a more simplified way. But right now, you see this is labeled MPC Synth. This is our synth signal that's happening. And what I've done is I have also sent this synth signal using these like sends here, like auxiliary sends or mix groups. And I was able to get that to come over here. Why would I do that? Why would I need to do all this routing? Well, one reason is because since I am working in Ableton Live, I also have a synth section here. And I'm sending from Ableton Live out the computer outputs. So if we look here, we see this area called From Computer. Yeah. In this From Computer section, I can send out my whatever I want from Ableton Live or from wherever. What we see here, again, is my voice. So let's go over to Ableton. And then I have my synth track here, to which, yes, I'm sending my synth track through another processing, but in the end, it comes out here, and I send it out, the external out, 3 and 4. Once it gets out of Ableton Live's computer output of 3 and 4, so let's see, I will start something on here in my synth channel. Let's just, I don't know where it is on my controller, so just give me a second, and I'll just do it with my fingers. So we hear that. That is coming out of this channel on the board. In the MPC, I am sending this synth out through 3 and 4, then 3 and 4. So if I start it, and I can stop Ableton Live if I want. But they're both going through the same channel. I do the same thing with the bass and with the drums in combination with the various instruments. This allows me to blend everything however I want using groups or buses, yeah, inside of the Motu mixing world. So I still have the MPC Live going, and I have the synth channel soloed, so we only see 3 and 4 here. we have that going into the mixer of the Motu, because that's what this area is, mix in. It's going into the mixer. And within the mixer, when I click over here, we will see the signal. So here's the MPC synth signal, which I am sending to a mix group using this, and it comes out here. Now I could unmute here, and because I have it sending out, yeah, let's show you where it's sending. Sorry. Okay. And just switch over, just takes a bit. Okay. So that synth group is here, and I have it routed. I have these boxes checked because I'm routing it somewhere. Where is that? Well, it's synth left and right. That's the group. It's going out of analog 3 and 4 from the Motu interface. And so then I actually have cables connected from those analog outputs going into this stereo track on the mixing desk. And that's why I'm able to control this here. You can do a number of things. Right now, oh, let's turn on the EQ. I can do all the EQing I want over here. Cut the highs. Okay, so again, my name is Sky Deep. I'm living in Berlin, Germany, but I've lived half my life on both LA and New York areas. I tell you this, I love music. I love this stuff. I'm gonna keep doing it until the wheels fall off, okay? And this has been your third episode of How I Do That Like That. See you later. Make sure to subscribe, give me a comment, ask me some questions, give me a thumbs up, something like that. Let me know what you're up to. Thanks. Ciao.